Hey guys, hey Posh Hearts, it's Simone here. Sorry for starting a little bit late. For some reason I could not get the Facebook Live video to work on my laptop. So I had to kind of make do. And hopefully you guys are seeing everything okay. I'm not sure if Facebook is being glitchy right now or what the deal is. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys today about the power of wording. And really this can be applied to just about every aspect of your business, whether you are talking to a customer, a potential team member, current team members, other Posh consultants, anybody. So, hey Nadine, thanks for joining. So I want to talk about the power of wording. Hey Lisa, this is something that you can really apply to every single aspect of your business, whether it be for customers, whether it be for team members, other Posh consultants, all that fun stuff. Thank you for getting on. I know the East Coasters, it's late, but if you guys have questions, just feel free to comment and I will see them. Or if you have anything to add, I'd love to see it or hear about it, whatever. But this is something that I was kind of thinking about because of the training that Tasha did at Day Away in Salt Lake. And I posted a video on it, I think. I did. And she talks about storytelling and how the use of your words and how powerful your words can be to portray a product and to tell a customer about a product. Now, that is one way you can use the power, like how useful words can be. So when you are telling somebody about a product that they've never tried before, using descriptive words and using experience-driven storytelling from what she was saying, is that that's why saying something like this hand cream is amazing is really not super helpful to those who have never tried Posh before or who aren't super duper interested. But if you say something like, I love this because it doesn't leave fingerprints all over my keyboard after using it, that helps people kind of understand a little bit more. And you never say scent or fragrance. Never say smell, I say scent or fragrance. Yeah, and that's the thing is just even the little things that you're saying, it's so important. So like for saying something, and this is something that you really have to kind of train yourself on and really practice on, which is why the more you talk about Posh, the more you get out there, the more experience you're going to get, and the more you're just going to get used to it. Like, the words are going to come out easier in your mouth. Like, videos help because it's just another way for you to talk about it. Events are very helpful because it gives you that kind of muscle memory when you're talking to customers. So, like I said, when you're talking about products, being more descriptive is incredibly helpful. Saying something is amazing or awesome or the best thing ever it's nice, but it would be a lot more helpful to convey a picture and to talk about how the healer has saved your dry, chapped lips this winter, or some personal story of how the gender bender has helped you clear up any acne issues or anything like that. And obviously these are personal testimonials. These aren't things you're not selling a cure-all. You're telling them how much you like it and you hope that they will like it too. Okay? Now, what do you do when there's a product you absolutely despise? Or you're not a huge fan of a lot of the scents, or you're not a huge fan of the catalog? What do you do? Well, I don't lie about it. Don't say, oh my gosh, I love this. And people are like, but you've always said you hate coconut. How are you loving this coconut thing? Explain that, explain maybe this isn't my favorite because I am not a huge, I hate floral scents or something like that. I'm not a big fan of floral scents, but I know a lot of people who liked this and this and this from the last catalog, or people who really like florals, really like this product. And like I said, don't say hate, whatever negative words you're saying in whatever whatever you're doing, negativity kind of tends to spread. And so if you're saying stuff about how, if you're being negative about something, your customers are going to see that. And like I said, you don't have to like every single product, because you don't have to, and you don't have to talk about every product. But if someone asks you about something, then be honest. Tell them maybe you're not a fan of it. Maybe Beach Hair Don't Care didn't work for your hair, but you've seen lots of people have a lot of great success with it. Something like that. Now, this is one of those things that's really important when you are talking to anybody, really, about your business. Because if you're constantly complaining, for some reason, some of us tend to just it's easier to talk about negative, I think, than it is to talk about positive, for some people. I don't know if people naturally want to talk about all the best things that are happening in their lives, but sometimes you just tend to talk about the things that are not as fun. Oh man, I had to wake up early, I was so tired, I stayed up so late last night doing this thing, and I'm so tired today. And if the people you're talking to, your business, if those people who hear these things are always hearing negative things from you, then they're not going to pay attention when you're saying anything positive, because the negative statements are so much stronger than positive statements. And that's usually the things that people remember. People usually remember the negatives, and they're not, it's a lot more, like I said, powerful than positive statements. So if you're approached and someone asks you what you do, and you are kind of like, well, I should tell them, but I don't really know how to tell them, I challenge you to think about how you can talk about your business in a way that you're comfortable with, and then think about how you're talking about it. Are you talking about it in a more negative manner? Not necessarily saying that you don't like it, but more like, oh, I just do this, and you kind of brush it off. Because if you're doing that, then no one's going to ask you questions, no one's going to talk to you about it. In fact, they're going to brush it off too, and they might not even remember that you have a posh business, because that's the way you brought it out. That's how you even talk about it. So that's something that I've personally realized that I do sometimes, and it's hard to get around that and to realize that if you're complaining about it all the time, people are going to remember it. And I think it's one of those things where a lot of people tend to complain about work and talk about how they aren't, it's like, oh man, they don't get as many days off, or, that just things that they're unhappy about their workplace. And don't get sucked into that and then start talk about why the things that you don't like about your business, right? Instead, focus on the things that you do like, the things that are your why posh, the reasons why you're here, and don't be afraid to share it with people. Now, when you are talking about anything that's posh related, like I said, you want to be descriptive. So if you are going to talk about your business and you're just saying everything's amazing, and you stop it at that, maybe take it one step further and say, it's awesome. I have had some really high goals, and I just love seeing my teammates and my team members hitting these goals that they didn't think they could achieve. Or I just promoted, it's super exciting, I got these really cool gifts, or oh my gosh, I got all this free stuff, or because I earned it, or something. Be a little bit more descriptive about it. Same goes for, okay, now we're going to shift a little bit in the training and talk about how you can use the power of wording when it comes to social media and online posts and anything where people are going to see the print version of you before they hear you ever talk, or if they never meet you in person. So these are your VIP groups, your Facebook personal page, this stuff. I did not want to use emojis for a really long time. I'm kind of old school that way. I was kind of like, it took me a while to even use a smiley face. But I find that using that in text really, really helps people read your tone when you're talking. So if you are talking about, like if you're being sarcastic or if you just have a natural dry sense of humor, people might not understand that. They might not see that across text. If you are, so if you're kind of like that, then it helps to have some sort of emoji or use some sort of picture to convey what you're trying to say. In real life, I have an incredibly dry sense of humor. Like my husband's told me many a time, well, he recently admitted that he had most of the time did not know if I was joking or not, which I was like, what? Like, really? So I'm like, if my husband's saying that, then I'm sure lots of people have no idea when I'm kidding or when I'm being sarcastic or when I'm being serious, right? So then that makes me read over everything that that I write and make sure that what I want to say is actually coming across. So keep that in mind when you're doing social media stuff or any print stuff. Okay, so these are kind of different bullet points, I guess, I wanted to talk about. So kind of lost my train of thought for a minute. But the other thing, so the power of wording really, really is important when you are, the words you choose to use when you are talking about joining or recruiting or selling or anything like that. Now, you've probably heard us talk about how we're not really out there to sell. That isn't what we're trying to we aren't really trying to accomplish selling. We're more trying to share, Posh. We're not salespeople, we're shares. We're not salespeople, we're shares people, right? Now, keep that in mind when you're trying to get people to host a party. If someone approached you and asked you to host a party, does that freak you out? Does that make you go, I don't? First of all, parties are just not really my thing, and hosting is just kind of scary because what does that mean? Instead, use different words. Like, some people don't like the hearing party at all. When they hear party, they just have a negative connotation and they just back away. And in that case, use different words like girls' night out, girls' night in, girls' night, ladies' night, a pampering event. Event or girls' night is usually the words that I tend to go for, because party can be really scary for some people. Hosting is another one that's like, well, what does it mean when I need to host? Gathering is another one. Yeah, thank you. Like hosting, that's kind of daunting. Some people are like, well, what does that mean? Instead, you can say, hey, maybe we can get you and some of your friends together and have a girls' night, or something along those lines, so that they realize that it's super low key, that you're really just there to pamper and to share, and that you need to get out to. That's what I tell like people at any home party I've ever done, is basically like, I am so glad I met you guys, like, because I'm not kidding. Like, I sit in front of a computer screen all day. My kids are in school. Like, when my husband gets home from work, I'm talking his ear off, and he's like, I just got home, you need to stop. I'm like, I haven't talked to anyone all day. I have all these things I need to say. And so whenever I go to a home party, I always tell people, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to like talk to people and like talk to adults and to actually, feel like an adult again, right? And so that's kind of one of those things, right? So you need to tell people that's part of it, is it's for everybody to get out there, and to get out, take a break for a minute, right? So then with recruiting, I don't know if you've noticed this, but obviously we use recruiting we say recruit a lot, like if you're a new recruit, but new team member is really the thing that I tend to use that more often, but it really is just recruiting. But new team members sounds so much better than new recruit, because obviously when you add a new team member, they're part of our team, and they're somebody that you want to help, and that you want to help them reach their goals. They're not just a recruit. You didn't just recruit them, get a bonus, and you're done. You're there to help them. You're there to make sure that they have what they need. So when you're talking to people, like, and then So recruiting is also another better word for recruiting is sponsoring. So you're the sponsor, you're helping your new team member rather than you are recruiting a new recruit. Yeah. So like that's like hosting and booking a party. It's more like having a gathering or having an event. And then let's see, enrolling instead of joining. So enrolling as a new team member rather than joining. Because we are trying to, Posh is more than just soap and lotion. And I'm sure many of you guys know this already, is that there is a huge community and we have an amazing Posh family, and anyone that joins or enrolls is going to be part of that Posh family. You're not just a part of a sales team or anything like that. You're part of our Posh tribe. And so that's another one of those things where it's like, maybe switch up how you're talking to people. Instead of asking them to join your team, maybe join your Posh family or enroll as a new team member or something like that. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It's less in your face, and I think it's a better way to convey what it is that you want from what they can expect and what you want to convey. Do you guys have any questions? But really, it's one of those things, if you guys have ever thought about it, or if you guys have ever read anything on, there's this, I read this a while ago, but it's like a parenting thing, where you don't tell your kids, don't do that, know this. There's a lot of negative ways you can tell your kid not to do something. No, don't eat that. Don't put your hands in your mouth. Don't pick that up. Don't do that. There's a lot of no's, right? Instead, it's kind of like positive reinforcement, where instead you're like, put that down. And you're kind of not necessarily telling them what to do. Like as a parent, you are kind of leading them better rather than telling them no all day long. But it's kind of, I like to apply that aspect to everything instead of saying don't, no, then I actually, instead it's like, put that down, put that away. I can't think of any right now because like all I can think of is no. But that's what they hear all the time if you're constantly being negative about something. So turn that around. Try to think about how you talk to customers or how you talk to different people, and maybe be a little bit more positive. And I think that actually, at least for me, that has actually helped me in my own like personal life to be less negative about myself and to not be as hard on myself, because instead of focusing on what I didn't do or what I couldn't accomplish, I focus on what I have done and what I have achieved. If hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and that really just takes time. If you guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but I can be a very pessimistic person, and I kind of have always been that way, and so it was very difficult for me with Posh to not be so hard on myself and to not compare myself to other people and to and see like I like maybe I'm not doing as well as I could, maybe I'm not good enough, and I've had plenty of those thoughts, but it really took a while for me to kind of get to the point where I realized that I am doing what I can, I'm doing my best, and I am happy with what I'm doing. Like, just because I'm not like the number one recruiter or the number one salesperson or whatever, so I guess number one sponsor in the company, or the number one with numbers, that doesn't mean that I'm not doing well and that I'm not being, I'm not successful in my own right. And I want you guys to kind of think about that in your own businesses as well. I know we're all gunning for the monthly award, and it's scary. It's really daunting, but a lot of you guys are doing so well, and I hope you guys can see that you guys are, I don't know. I just love so many of you guys. I love that so many of you guys have kind of claimed it and said, yes, I'm going for this, and this is how I'm going to do it. And to me, that is amazing, and that's something that you guys need to celebrate and talk to people about. Like, I got this crazy goal, but I'm so excited to push for it. And hopefully, if you guys can maybe change your mindset a little bit on how you talk about things, and use a little bit more descriptive words when you're talking about products. I know there's a lot of product in the catalog. I know a lot of people are probably stressed about not having a lot of cash and carry, or having a lot of inventory on hand, or having every tester in the world at your table, but less is more. And I don't have testers of everything. I don't carry a lot of things in stock, and it's fine. It's worked for my business, and it's something that's really worked for me. And it's the reason why is because I tend to talk about the things I'm completely passionate about, and I've gotten to the point where I just have all these stories, and I have all of these, I guess, different testimonials and different reasons why I'm obsessed. And I'm not scared to tell people that I was a little upset when my husband told me that gender bender wasn't his favorite anymore. Like, I really was, like, so offended, and almost like he was cheating on the gender bender, and I was so appalled. But when I tell people that, they're like, well, why is it so good? And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm crazy, but I really felt like that because the gender bender did it, and I explain all of these reasons why I, am obsessed with it. But then I explain why my husband changed and decided he liked a different one because he liked it because of this and this, But yeah, like, I have all these crazy stories, but it's partly because we try the products, but then I like to tell people about my positive experiences. Sometimes the experiences aren't as good, but I don't usually, obviously, you don't gravitate toward telling people about the time this happened that was horrible or whatever, right? If it's not for you, that's okay. Just say, hey, it's not my favorite, but I know a lot of people like it because of blank, So basically if you don't have something to say about, or if you don't think you have something to say about anything, a product, joining, the business aspect of things, think about it, and maybe you do, and maybe you just forgot, or you just haven't really looked at it in a certain way. All right. Does anyone have any questions? I can go over really quick. I just want to make sure that I've gotten through everything. My phone battery is it's kind of sad. Make sure I got everything. Yeah, so really it's more when I'm talking about, I was like trying to figure out where my finger was. Okay. Yeah, but really it really is just more of avoiding the words that make people freak out. So hate, negative anything. Parties can be scary for people, so pick a different word. Event, pampering night, girls' night, gathering. Joining might be super scary. Maybe it's enrolling, grabbing the starter kit. I say that a lot, grabbing the starter kit, rather than joining, because nobody really knows what that means. With the perks account, I also say create a perks account rather than join our perks program, just because join kind of can be like confusing. People might not understand what that means. And what I mean is I want them to make an account. So create an account versus join, because it's not really joining, right? I'm reading, let's see. Nadine, I was talking to a friend who was a LuLaRoe addict. She said she'd heard of Gender Bender. They recommend using Gender Bender to remove stains. Oh, good. I didn't realize that. That's really cool. That's awesome. Good job. Seriously, you got to reach out to people and talk to people, but that is amazing. Gender Bender is also really good for makeup brushes. A lot of makeup consultants, so like unique consultants, love using the Gender Bender for makeup brushes. So if you guys know any makeup addicts or whatever, try see if they'll, review the gender bender for you. I have also seen people clean their beauty blenders with the gender bender, even when they think their beauty blender is completely done for, they use the gender bender and it's like brand new. So that's always really cool. See, and like that's what's so fun is that like you share an experience like that, and I'm gonna remember that next time. Like, okay, yeah, I know people use gender bender for everything, but I never really thought about. I always forget to use it for things that aren't on my skin. So that's a good one to remove stains. Does anyone have anything else to add or any questions or anything like that? Okay, I know this wasn't like a super structured training, but I just really wanted you guys to kind of think about what you guys are doing and what you guys are saying, because people are listening. Whether you think that no one is seeing your post or anything like that, people are watching you and they want to see how serious you are about this. And it might pique their interest. And maybe right now they're not interested, but that doesn't mean they won't be interested later. I've been with Posh for more than 5 years now, and last year I had some people order from me that I've been friends with this entire time that have didn't really show a lot of interest in Posh until last year. So they watch. People are watching. All right, I'm gonna jump off before my phone dies. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have anything else to add, I would love to hear it. As always, feel free to go to the team page if you guys have anything, any questions or anything like that. If you're watching this later, you're always welcome to comment. Reach out to your sponsor, reach out to your premier. Everyone is here to help you. Like I said, we have a huge, amazing Posh family, and that's one of the best things about Posh, and one of the things that you should probably tell people more about. Yeah. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for joining. I know those on the East Coast is super late, but I really appreciate it. Yeah, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful night.